Okay, we're left with the red one. The red one's the last one we have left, the red block. And remember, the red block, as I mentioned, is missing a piece. The center piece was going to be the red. So where my finger is pointing here is going to be the red. If you take a look at my assembly left over from the previous clip, we got the, it's literally laid out exactly the same. I just have to finish. Oh, I don't have my purple one in there. We'll pull this one out. So this one is attached. I think it's attached right here, I think. Yep, there you go. And then this one will go in just like this to make it exactly the same as these. So now these are identical. See? Perfect. Now let's put this last one together. Remember, there's a center one right here. There should be another piece on top of this one, because it sits on there like this, or like this. Yep. So we're gonna have two here. We'll have two here, and then three along this. We'll have another one right here like that. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, just like that. And then this one will be like this, which is where this one should be. Just like that. There should be another one sticking up right here like that. So we're gonna do these three together. We'll do these two together. We'll do the two first. You can do this a whole bunch of different ways, but this is the way that I prefer to do it. Is to glue them in pairs if you can, or in groups. Okay. Trying to make the best of not being able to move around too much. I'm trying to make it so that you guys will have a not so bad time. That one's like that. I need to glue these three up, and then we'll put this one in the middle, and then that will be a wrap on this gluing process. Notice I'm not using a ton of glue. About half the size of a pea. The vegetable, by the way. About the size of a grain of corn or corn kernel. That's how much glue I'm putting on. Something to reference. I'm gonna make sure my alignment of my blocks are good, so it's flush all the way across. Just gonna do a third one on here now. That's how much glue you need right there. Maybe the size of a fly. Maybe that's another reference. Not a big horse fly, but a house fly. And then we're gonna put this together. Wipe up the edges. Make sure that we're flush. Make sure nothing moves. Let the glue start to set up a little bit. Begin to cure. There you go. And the final thing I have to do, whoops, I gotta make sure it doesn't move. Make sure we stay straight and aligned. The final thing we have to do is put these two together like this. I'll make sure that remember we talked about the alignment of our seams attaching to neighboring blocks. We want that seam to come and meet the surface of the next block over. Make sure none of this moves now. Squeeze it tight. Make sure we're flush on the bottom. Make sure that you have the seams on the outsides matching the outside edges right here. I want to make sure that the seam runs right, run right, just like that. Same thing on this side. You want to make sure that these are lined up perfect. So that goes on there. That will sit just like this. And in the, we're missing a red block that should go right there. But once these are all set up, this should fit perfect right in here. And this is where, whoops, this is where some of the frustrations might occur when you start putting these together. We might have to redo some of these, or we might have to shave some of them down using files, blocks, using sandpaper, opening them up, open up some of the ones. I don't want anybody using like a hammer and chisel when I'm gone, but you can probably put these in, you could put these in the vices potentially, and then using the files and trying to file them down enough to get them to fit. This might need to sit for a second before it goes in there. So this is supposed to fit in that hole right there. So you might need to move some of these out a little bit, just like that, and this will fit just like that. Perfect. So making sure everything gets aligned up, make sure everything gets lined up, aligned really well, so it goes right across from each other when it goes together. So this needs to be put together like this. I need to attach this one back onto here, so I need to let that fall out. But that's that. I'll put this back on here just for a sec, and then we'll stop the video. Just want to make sure this gets attached before I stop. I haven't quite paid attention or figured out if gluing the end grain, if the end grain has got better attachment with the puzzles, but just to make sure that you have them lined up across from each other. Those seams are lined up with the edges. That's probably the most important thing, and making sure that things are flush. Hold this tight, squeeze it with the fingers. Got white on my fingers showing because I'm squeezing hard. Make sure everything's lined up the way it's supposed to. You might want to take it, you can maybe take a pencil. Pencil might help to clean some of that up. I'm wiping it on my skin because it easily peels off once it dries. Not on my clothes. There you go. See if that will help. Make sure we're flush. Make sure edges are lined up perfect. There you go. The red block is officially done, I'm going to call it. Where's my piece at? There it is.